Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's my guy knows a guy on the Frenzy Sports YouTube channel, the Sports Predictions channel, and it was a crazy night in the NBA tonight. I'm up late. It is Friday night. It's technically Saturday now on the East Coast, but I'm just gonna scroll through some of the stuff that I did save. I want to go over some of the games. Big night for Andre Drummond and Kevin Huerter betters. If you guys watched the earlier live stream, shout out to you. I'm actually going to share on Twitter. I didn't even tweet that this is actually out right now. So, yeah, if you have notifications on, I appreciate you. If you catch us in the morning, I appreciate you. I'm just going to recap some of the stuff going on in the NBA world. The play-in tournament is right around the corner. Meaningful basketball is on the way. Shout out to everyone that's been riding with the bets, with the quality predictions, win or lose. We're definitely on a better streak right now. It's crazy right now, though. It's crazy. I saw some hype games, 3 close games tonight. The Raptors-Rockets game ended up being 10 times more entertaining than I thought it was going to be. If you give me a second, I'm actually just going to tweet out that I'm streaming right now. I'm on Twitch, too. I have a Twitch channel. Haven't really shared it, so you can watch on Twitch, too, or if you're into that. Sometimes I play games on there, so. Yeah, so as you can see, the Raptors, they won a nail biter. They did not cover today. They rested Fred VanVleet again. Something that's really noteworthy to me, though, is that Nick Nurse is just continually maxing Pascal Siakam out. I hope there's not a level of fatigue. I know he had a late start to the season because of his off-season shoulder surgery, but I just want Pascal Siakam to be nice and fresh, ready to go, no fatigue for the playoffs. I think it's his turn to rest. Just look at the numbers he's putting up, man. It's crazy. It's absolutely ridiculous what Pascal Siakam is doing. I know it's the Rockets. But that game tonight was pretty hype. They did not cover the point spread, unfortunately. But hey, the Rockets, they covered 3 games in a row. What's going on, Sideshow? Man, the Bulls, I'll get to them in a second. The Bulls are actually a complete disgrace right now. ATS, they're limping into the playoffs. They do not resemble the team that was leading the Eastern Conference just like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago. It's so crazy. Yeah, it does. There's still a rest problem, that's still going to exist for the teams that did qualify for the playoffs. But it gives us the added drama of, we've seen some intense games. Like, look at the Cavaliers Nets game tonight. Look at the Cavaliers Nets game. Just going to go through. Yeah. So as I said, the Raptors, they beat the Rockets 117-115 tonight. It was a pretty exciting game. Came down to the wire. Random players: Josh Christopher, Alperen Şengün, Kevin Porter Jr. has been balling. He's been absolutely balling. All right. Yep. As I said, the Raptors, they clinched the 5th seed. There's a small chance they could climb to the 4th seed, but we would need a win versus New York on Sunday and Philadelphia to lose out tomorrow against the Pacers and the Pistons, which is highly unlikely. So the only way the Raptors can get to the 4th seed is if the Philadelphia 76ers fail to beat both the Pistons and the Pacers. So that's not going to happen. The Raptors, pretty much 99% chance to be the 5th seed right now. The Jazz are a disgrace. Let's talk about that. Hype comeback. Enough hometown stuff right now. Hype comeback in the Phoenix Suns game. What were they, plus 800? No, it wasn't that bad. They're still the best team. I didn't actually see the live odds. It's crazy. 17-point lead for the Utah Jazz. The Phoenix Suns, they clamped down defensively. We saw the supreme skill set of Mikal Bridges, a true two-way player right now. He's playing both sides of the ball. I think he held Donovan Mitchell to no field goals in the 4th quarter. It was actually crazy. I caught that game. The Jazz reporter said the Jazz are broken. The Utah Jazz are broken. Crazy. So yeah, just going to scroll through some of the other stuff. As I said, I just quoted what he said. It's the 3rd time in the last 6 games that the Utah Jazz have given up a lead of 16 points or more in the 4th quarter. Crazy. The recap from the props today. My NBA props projections are actually going very well right now. We're going to try to keep it going into the playoffs, seeing things clearly. The numbers are coming out clearly. I trust the numbers that we're putting out right now. So let's continue what we're doing. Andre Drummond had a big game. It was pretty scary. Steve Nash didn't have to play him at the end of the game when they were up by 10 to 13 points. Nick Claxton, he left him on the bench. He's a young player, but Andre Drummond showed that he has a motor at the end of the game. At the end of the game, hit the like button if you tail those bets. Petey, what'd you say? My Bulls smell like okay. Man, Donovan Mitchell is running out of excuses too. It's crazy. Let's see how they do in the playoffs, though. They have shot makers. I still don't think the Bulls will be an easy out. They're not playing the best basketball, but I have a sneaky feeling the Bulls still won't be an easy out. Devin Booker, 33 points tonight. DeAndre Ayton, double-double. Chris Paul was really running the show, 16 assists. This Suns team, it was pretty much what everyone was saying. Everyone was saying that the Suns, they don't really need to perform well in this game. This game doesn't mean much, but, they're performing at a record-breaking pace. They want to go into the playoffs in high form. They recently lost 2 games on the road against undermanned teams, the Memphis Grizzlies, the OKC Thunder. That was fresh on their memory today. Look, they outscored the Utah Jazz 36-13 tonight. 36-13. Crazy. Yeah, LeBron, we already know he's shutting it down for the rest of the season. LeBron James is done. Lakers season is done. This was his note to the fans, I guess. I have some player prop projections for tomorrow as well, for Saturday, and I have some game projections as well. But the numbers right now, with the way they opened up, I'm just going to wait it out and see how things are. But I'm probably going to end up dropping a pick on the channel. There's just something that's a bit unclear to me in one of the games. Only 4 games on the schedule tomorrow, so our options will be limited betting-wise. We won't be forcing anything. Yeah, Obi Toppin had a big night. His points prop total is just increasing every night. It was 17 the other night. Tonight, I believe it was 19 and a half at the close. 35 points against the Wizards. Hey, big game for Luka Doncic tonight. 39 points. Didn't even have to really go that crazy against the Blazers, but he did. Kevin Porter Jr., as I said, he's been putting up monster performances. I'm sure there are people out there that have been capitalizing on this run right here. 35 points, 36 points, 21 points, 27 points, 30 points, 26 points. Kevin Porter Jr. has been on fire. I saw it today. I watched the Rockets-Raptors game. I watched it. Hey, I appreciate you, Trey. I appreciate you watching. Let's keep winning. 1 p.m. start, maybe a bit sleepy for the 76ers, but, I would say that they need to win the game. They need to bounce back after what happened in Toronto. And the Pacers offer no resistance for Joel Embiid. We'll probably need to see the lineups, but, they're going to win. They're going to win. I'm a bit worried of the early start, but, don't really have to force anything, although I have a couple of player props projected for that game. Might be a game where you can attack some other markets, maybe team totals, maybe the total of the game. The Mavs are going for third. Let me just scroll through some of the stuff I have. I really appreciate the few people that are watching right now. I know it's really, really late. I anticipated maybe just recording this so some people can catch up and see some of the stuff that I'm seeing whenever they have a chance. And I will be posting more predictions on the channel, more sports betting predictions, more picks coming on the way. Look at Billy Donovan's excuse tonight after they got blown out at home by the Charlotte Hornets, completely destroyed, almost a wire-to-wire loss, I believe. Billy Donovan said some of the defensive mistakes were covered at morning shoot-around and said, that's on me for not clarifying the coverages better. Whatever it is that you're saying that's on me for, that's not the reason you lost by 30 at home to the Hornets, bro. There's a lot to digest from that Bulls-Hornets game. It did not look good. The body language of the players didn't look good. The getting back on defense in transition, giving up on plays. I saw it all in that game. I turned it off. Yeah, I'll look that up. What's going on, Flash the Dawn? I see you're watching on Twitch. I'm on YouTube and Twitch right now, so. Yeah, I can talk about some of the games for tomorrow before I get out of here. Just wanted to recap, as I said in the title of the video. So the Nets win, Hornets win, Cavs win. The Nets win, Hornets win, Cavs lose, Hawks lose. This is the updated race for 7th going into the final game. The Brooklyn Nets 43-38. The Cavaliers 43-38. They're tied. The Nets have the tiebreaker. Exciting game today. They created separation for themselves in the fourth quarter. Powered by some energy by Bruce Brown, Andre Drummond. It's crazy. I believe the rest of the players were feeding off of that energy. A lot of action around the rim. The Hawks and the Hornets, they're not in the best position right now for the play-in tournament. It looks like they may be having to play 2 games for their route to the playoffs. So just keep in mind, they've essentially been playing playoff basketball for a couple of weeks now. Both of these teams. We have the Raptors, as I said, they've clinched the 5th seed. I'm going to look up what you said about Ja. Scott Foster, are you going to be there? I saw the line for the T-Wolves Clippers play-in game. The early line is T-Wolves minus 1.5 against the Clippers in the play-in tournament. That's very interesting. What do you think, Scott Foster? I appreciate you, Eric. I really appreciate it. Let's keep it going. You got to wait to see who they play. If they're going to be on the road, how do they feel? See what happens in the series. I'm sure the Bulls will win. They're not going to get swept. You guys think the Bulls are going to get swept? Let me know. Harden, I hate to say it. I do some props in the MLB. I do hit props and I do K props, but not as often. I do like 80% money lines in baseball. James Harden, I'll be honest. James Harden might be going to the Lakers as a free agent if they get disappointed. If the Sixers get disappointed in the playoffs early, he might just bounce as a free agent, even though they traded Ben Simmons, go to the Lakers. It's a natural progression of things. James Harden will team up with LeBron. Clippers? Let's go. We're betting with Ty Lue in the 1-game scenario. They're going to get hot. Everyone's going to get hot from 3. All of them. Every single one of them. Clippers. They're going to shoot lights out in the play-in tournament for 1 game. Is that all we have on the game? Yeah, I'll talk about the games for tomorrow. Is that all we have on the games? Yeah, that's all we have. Yeah, they responded. You guys are going to need to respond in the play-in tournament, but I think they'll get out of it. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think Vegas is going to price the play-in tournament in a way where it's going to be difficult to make money on the Nets in a 1-game scenario. They may, there's no telling what they'll do. The odds makers, they hate it every time the Nets win. They hate it. People just don't like to fade them. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough right there. That game is going to come down to the lineups. How many of these guys are actually hurt? How many of these guys are actually hurt in a Spurs Pelicans matchup? Brandon Ingram, DeJounte Murray, these guys have missed games. This guy said they make him want to puke. Tobias Harris, his contract's disgusting. What's up, Sideshow? Okay, yeah, I'll look at some of the games early for tomorrow, but I am going live on the channel early in the morning when there are more markets available at 10 a.m. Eastern. So there are only 4 games. Tomorrow morning's live stream may be very short. I encourage everyone to check it out. But as always, I will post my pick of the day on Twitter as well. But definitely come back to the YouTube channel and check out my thoughts in the morning on the games. The Hornets, man, you might as well go to the Wizards. If you go to the Hornets or the Wizards, it's towards the end for you. It's towards the end. I don't think he's going to pick a random destination like Charlotte. He's going to pick the Lakers. James Harden, watch. I feel you. This guy is crazy. The big mass media. It's the mass media. Yes, they can beat them. If the Hawks can, Jared Allen. There's still no word on Jared Allen. They're babying him right now. They're running out of time. Jared Allen doesn't come back. It's going to be, looking towards next season for the Cavaliers. I'm telling you, those other teams will beat them, but they could beat the Hornets. They could beat the Hornets without Jared Allen, if that happens somehow. 2 of those teams are going to have to win 2 games to get out of there. That game was inexplicable to me. I noticed it versus the Raptors as well. It's something about the Hawks at the end of the games and fourth quarters. The pace just grinds to a halt. They don't really do some of the things that were successful for them in the prior 3 quarters, in the first 3 quarters of the game. It's almost like when the fourth quarter comes, they get comfortable. They switch things up. Things slow down. They have the personnel to win. They have the personnel to make big shots as well. We saw it last year. We've seen it in flashes this year. But the game against the Heat tonight, I caught the end of it on replay. It didn't look right to me. It didn't look right. They've been pretty bad on the road. They did. They did. That's why that game was really important for them, to somehow salvage a chance at getting to play a play-in game at home. I thought that they would maybe close out, but the Heat, once they didn't rest anyone, it was looking kind of crazy. You have Bam Adebayo giving interviews at the end of the game saying he's the defensive player of the year. I saw Jared Allen still has a splint on his finger in the game tonight when he was on the bench. But he may have to play hurt. I don't know how healed he is, but he may have to play hurt, Jared Allen, because their season is on the line. I know the Cavs don't really have the grandest expectations. They probably already feel like they've overachieved because they've made the postseason. But, this is a team that, for me, I had them over 27.5 wins. I cashed that a long time ago on their season win total. I thought that they would have a better season than last year, but not this good. But, we can see just without Jared Allen, like if they had Jared Allen, he's such a difference maker on the interior that they may have snatched that game against Brooklyn today. Just think about it. The Nets beat the Cavs 118-107 behind 36 points from Kevin Durant. Brooklyn is now in the driver's seat for the top spot in the play-in tournament. in position to host the 7th or 8th seed game on Tuesday at Barclays. Short rotation from Nash tonight. The starting five was good. The bench was not. I did notice that as well. The bench was absolutely terrible. Some guys were out, though. I know Dragic is in protocols, but the bench was absolutely horrible today. So the Bucks, because they won tonight, they can't fall any lower than third place today. Yeah, they were chanting "Let's go Suns" in the Jazz Arena. They took over the Jazz Arena today. All right, I'm going to do a quick look ahead to tomorrow's games, but I'm really going to have to analyze it further when I wake up. The Mavericks will beat the Jazz in 5 or 6 games. 5 or 6 games. That's all that will need. That's all that will be needed. James Johnson hasn't been good. You know, uh, the buyout market, the waiver market, whatever you want to call it, has been very limited as well compared to other years. There haven't been many players in that pool that teams have deemed fitting to add to a championship run, championship contending team. Usually see cosmetic changes, like they'll sign a random guy that's available off of waivers at this time of year, but James Johnson, I'm not sure he'll be picked up. You guys can correct me. Has James Johnson been picked up yet? He hasn't been good when he was on the court. He gets roasted by his own fans on Twitter, by Brooklyn Nets fans. Um, so they had to make it. It wasn't really a difficult choice, really. I'm surprised we're not seeing a couple more guys get released, but I want to see everybody get their money. Some of these teams need to tighten their rotations for the playoffs. Yeah, they messed up. They traded their future away. That's how it goes in the NBA. They traded their future away. Pacers, Sixers. Sixers minus 14 against the Pacers right now. The total is 231.5. We have, this is a 76ers team. They have not been profitable ATS so far this season at home either. We're towards the end now. The Sixers, as we saw in the quote before, it's likely that they're going to play the Toronto Raptors in the first round of the playoffs. There is an outsized chance that they can climb higher than fourth and escape a matchup with the Raptors. I wouldn't really call it escaping, but however you feel about that potential matchup. But this is a Sixers team. I say they're still pretty unpredictable. They've fallen off ATS as of late. Just look down here. They haven't covered 6 out of 7 games, but they're going up against an Indiana Pacers team that has a horrendous defense. But they have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight games by single digits. Okay, we're dealing with a 14-point spread. These two teams just met in Indiana. They just met in Indiana. Okay, but the 76ers have played a game since then. So just I think the Sixers can crush these guys. They can crush them. But this Pacers team is very streaky shooting. They just don't have an interior presence to combat Joel Embiid. Maybe Joel Embiid bounces back in this one. Maybe he bounces back individually after being stifled a bit and frustrated a bit by the Toronto Raptors defense the other night. So that's good advice. Don't fade the Suns. That's great advice if they're healthy. With some teams, narratives just don't matter. All right, yeah. So, I give the edge to the 76ers here, but I'm a bit weary of the early start time. So I'm gonna, do a deeper dive. You may be able to get a better number in game, but I just don't see the Pacers being able to compete with them. The Pacers they exploded offensively in the second half against the 76ers the other day. The 76ers were caught sleeping. They were caught sleeping this defensively the other night. They should get Matisse Thybulle back into the lineup. This is another matchup here. The Memphis Grizzlies. They're pretty much they're actually locked into the second seed, but at the same time, they still have a lot of key guys that are going expected to be playing. Just wait and see. They did downgrade Brandon Ingram to doubtful, but I'm just wondering why they're only 5.5 point underdogs. The New Orleans Pelicans is a bit suspicious. I would assume the Grizzlies would crush them. I would assume the Grizzlies would crush them or perform very well ATS in this scenario. Um, Coming off of a couple of losses as well. This is a team that performs very well after losses. Now they're coming off of 2 losses. I'm sure that they might want to get into the mind frame of the Phoenix Suns to turn it on before the playoffs. The Phoenix Suns are trying to play their best basketball right now. The Grizzlies, if they want to keep pace, they need to have a couple of performances, positive performances to end this regular season. Ja Morant is questionable. You know, Brandon Ingram is questionable. I saw doubtful as well, but you guys can tell me in the chat if he's been upgraded. I give the Grizzlies the edge here. There's going to be a mountain of public money if they do upgrade Ja, and the line is probably going to shoot up by. Seriously, he's one of the few players that's worth it. It'll shoot up to like 8, -7.5, 8 if Ja comes back. Easy. So just don't get trapped. He could be rusty as well. We see the star player returning theory in effect at all times. So I'm confident in the Grizzlies to have an edge here. Maybe John needs another game of rest though, but I'm sure they want to get him just reacclimated in NBA speed just before the playoffs. It's a pretty important game. The Grizzlies have won the head-to-head matchup 2 games in a row. ATS, pretty much blowouts, both by double digits. One by 21 points, another by 13 points. This one is really tricky because of the lineups. Let me just see who's going to be in. The Warriors and the Spurs. Yeah, that's what I saw earlier. Clay is out for this one. Klay Thompson's out for this one. Jakob Poeltl out. Devin Vassell out. Keldon Johnson out. DeJounte Murray out. Disgusting. This is a disgusting game. And the Warriors are still -7 on the road. I'm not. This is crazy. This is crazy. Jordan Poole. The whole world's going to be on Jordan Poole. The whole world's going to be on Jordan Poole in this one. We might need to look at Zach Collins. Shout out to everyone in the chat. It's so late at night. I didn't think anyone would be watching. I really appreciate it. I will be on in the morning though, 10 a.m. Eastern. Just want to let you guys know. Best of luck, everyone riding on the bets. If you guys appreciate the analysis, the research, let's keep it going. What up, AZ Cards? Phoenix Suns, bro. They're going crazy. They're going crazy. Yeah, the Grizzlies do have Boston on deck. I'm a bit weary of the low Grizzlies line. I'll make up my mind in the morning. Maybe we can come up with some player props. Clippers, Sacramento. The Clippers are going to play the Minnesota Timberwolves in the play-in tournament. It's a huge game. That game's going to be massive. Pretty clean injury report. They may get Luke Kennard back, the Clippers. As we know, they've essentially shut down De'Aaron Fox, and Domantas Sabonis was shut down quite some time ago. It's really helped progress the development of Davion Mitchell. This one's going to be really difficult. You can't trust the Clippers right until game time when it comes to the lineups. Don't trust the Clippers until game time. They could crush these guys tomorrow, but I wouldn't trust them until game time in terms of the lineup, in terms of the numbers. They almost let the Suns come back from 39 points the other night, their bench. Without Chris Paul, without DeAndre Ayton, without Devin Booker, one of the most suspicious results. Up by 39 in the third quarter, and they let the Suns come back and cut it to like 2 points. And then they lost by, say, 5 or 6. They were plus 9,000. Yeah, the Kings have been going over at an abnormal rate. Look at this. Nearly 80% of their games since the beginning of March have gone over. The Kings, no defense at all. Allowing 115 just on the regular, really. On the road as well, look, 23 and 15 splits for over-under for the Kings. But at the same time, we have to wait to see who's actually going to play for the Clippers. Just they're thinking about the Minnesota Timberwolves in the play-in tournament. I appreciate everyone in the chat so much. Everyone watching who's not in the chat either. I appreciate you. We're going to get out of here. It's really, really late. Going to finish some projections for tomorrow. Call it a night. I will be back on at 10 a.m. in the morning. This was just an NBA predictions recap. Just shared some of the news, some of the tweets, some of the stuff going on that's relevant to our bets, and just celebrating as well. Shout out to Andre Drummond, Kevin Herter, bringing us some money, and no shout out to the Bulls for stinking it up against the Hornets. They're banned for now. The Hornets are banned for now. Not the Hornets, my bad. The Bulls. I'm tired, but yeah. Let me know. I'll play with the Kings in 2K. Let me know. The Pistons have a solid core, I would say. They have a beginning. They have a path, but it's all about decision making. Any team can just mess it up at any time. It's about the next decision. They made a couple of good decisions, the Pistons, but you have to make a series of good decisions. You can't get complacent, especially when you're starting from behind, you know? Yeah. Hey, like for me, I'll see you guys next time. More live streams, more content on the way, more predictions, more stuff on Twitter. Check me out. My guy knows a guy. It's the Frenzy Sports channel. Was here talking about the Suns, the Lakers. Sorry, the Suns, the Raptors, the Nets, the Cavaliers, the Hawks, the Bucks. Let's see what goes on in that early game tomorrow in the NBA. And then there's another game that's somewhat early in the evening with the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. So let's see what's going on. My dog, finesse the books. Let's go. It was a mob game in Toronto tonight, bro. Straight mob game. I'll see you guys next time.